Hello. I'm back. This video will be off from the modeling topic. This time I will talk about people, share my opinions, and point out a couple of things. In the time of my absence, one notable individual paid his attention to my work. This person took his time to go through the channel and share his, well, let's call it opinions. I was pleasantly surprised to see him speak this much. Just like one of the supposed volunteers who accidentally revealed the game developing kitchen. I like when people are this talkative, it reveals their nature. First thing I notice is the relevance of his commentary to the videos. I can safely assume he did not comprehend what he watched, if we assume he did actually watch, instead of skimming through. I was naive enough to have a higher opinion of him, until this moment. It's worth noting that the comment is written in an antagonizing manner, so I'll be speaking based on this assumption. First, he explains occlusion culling. The video doesn't touch this subject, and yet he brings this up. This is quite strange to me. Did he imagine something in his mind and assumed it to be real? Then he fails to understand what's wrong with such high polygon count of the models, or it may be a weak attempt at justifying it. If the former is the case, then it's quite sad. It makes me doubt in him as a developer. To your knowledge, smoothing groups exist for a reason like this, to make low poly mesh look fine winning in performance. If later is the case, then it's a valid reason to call him a white knight who came to rescue not the damsel in distress, but a procrastinating weeb who lives with his mother. He points out a couple obvious things, but the bit about using multiple submaterials is valid. I forgot to mention this method to deal with overlapping UV. It's still low-effort solution. The rest is more antagonizing and unintelligent, borderline rage, which I don't really want to break out. There is a lot more about this person. Since the moment he was noticed by the fans, he had been actively participating in controversies and drama. But here is a thing though, as far as I know, he openly stated he doesn't want to deal with controversy or drama. What kind of person does it make him to be? This is the reason I had a bad impression of him back then. It only got worse with time. At some point, he jumped the data digger hate train. This is when it became really nasty. He showed his ugly personality in full bloom. He took time to participate and leave a relatively long comment to a video made by yet another opportunistic person deranging the data digger. Let's take a look at that. He made a list of comparisons, bad comparisons. First one is a stretch, a really big stretch. How can these two things be compared given the nature of data digger's work? Second one is a big stretch as well. I already know this person has hard time comprehending things around him. But we are talking about someone being serious in his lust and someone fooling around and joking. Third one is, again, a big stretch. He's comparing adult person having a fit of narcissistic rage with a kid feeling resentment in response to a mob depiling at her over a difference in opinions. By the way, I'm confident in my belief he doesn't share same values and views as people he's trying to appeal to. So I expect him to slip at some point and be dragged the same way. He's walking on eggshells without knowing it. Next one is a legitimate concern. These assets should be removed from the project. So again, a big stretch. The fifth is a continuation of the third one. I haven't heard about this being a thing, and given how much exaggeration I see, I will assume this being a big stretch as well until proven otherwise. The last one. Obscuring likes and dislikes is a very minor thing. If data digger closed the comments, then it could be comparable, but even that would be a stretch. What's important to note is that they knew data digger is a minor. Two adult people are dragging teenage girl on the internet in front of a big audience. As far as I know, it can be constituted as harassment and a good ground for a lawsuit, but data digger knows well enough to hide their identity. It actually gets worse. Data digger confronts him and engages in the argument. This is where I recognize a narcissistic pattern. He applies double standards, but still can't get out clean. Despite Data Digger being bad at arguing, he's trumped by truth she speaks. When he realizes he has too many skeletons in his closet, he tries to switch, but Data Digger doesn't bite. I despise narcissism like this. In my book, he's even worse than Alex. Alex never went out of his way to pursue people and try to hurt them as this respectable gentleman did. Alex did everything wrong in reaction, while this person is proactive. The new developer of the new Yondir simulator is yet another opportunist. Be wary, he can turn out to be the new Alex, and he may stagnate just as bad, receiving payments from his fans. At this point, I firmly believe he does it just for fame and money. By the way, I have something new on my hands. Meanwhile, care to take a look at video description?